what can go wrong will go wrong for the Dallas Cowboys. And this is another example of that with Ceedee going down with this ankle injury. And to have him go out right now it just sucks.
What if I told you the Dallas Cowboys 2025 season was over before it even truly began? On September 21st, what should have been a routine Week 3 clash against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field transformed into a nightmare. Cowboys Nation held its breath. And then, a collective gasp as Ceedee Lamb's ankle twisted in a way that made millions look away. Yet they couldn't stop replaying it. In seconds, a game highlight turned into the internet's worst nightmare, leaving America's team reeling and searching for answers. Let's break down the catastrophic moment that stopped the Cowboys cold.
Position of his ankle as he gets tackled here by this Bears defender. So remember, we're looking at Lamb's left ankle. As he comes down here, we're going to see that left foot get planted into the ground, and then this is that externally rotated position.
The Cowboys entered that pivotal game already struggling with a disappointing 1-2 start, including a crushing Week 1 loss to their bitter rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. The weight of expectation, the relentless scrutiny that comes with wearing the star, had already created an atmosphere of tension. But nothing could have prepared anyone for the opening quarter of a catastrophic 31-14 defeat. The central figure in this unfolding drama was none other than Ceedee Lamb, the team's 4-time Pro Bowler and newly minted highest-paid player, fresh off signing a massive 4-year, $136 million contract that had just resolved his contentious holdout. Lamb, who had established himself as one of the NFL's most explosive playmakers, was about to experience a moment that would not only threaten his immediate future, but expose the brutal nature of professional football. But the most shocking decision came even before the tackle. The play that changed everything began innocuously enough. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line, a seemingly standard offensive possession. But what made this particular play call so shocking, and in retrospect so devastating, was the decision to line up their premier wide receiver in a wildcat formation, essentially asking him to function as a running back. This unusual deployment would later draw severe criticism from fans and analysts alike, with many questioning the wisdom of exposing such a valuable asset to the increased physical punishment that comes with carrying the football between the tackles. And the collision that followed would prove those critics devastatingly right.
The one thing that I think saved him here from a more severe injury is it didn't look like his ankle was quite as dorsiflexed or brought up.
As Dak Prescott handed the ball to Lamb, the sequence of events unfolded with a sickening inevitability. Lamb, demonstrating the versatility and competitive spirit that defined his college career at Oklahoma, took the handoff and immediately darted left, looking for an opening. The collision that would change everything occurred as Lamb planted his left foot to make a cutting motion. On this particular play, Bears linebacker Noah Sewell converged on the exact same spot, with the kind of violent force and precision that defines elite defensive play. The impact, captured in excruciating detail by multiple camera angles and subsequently shared millions of times, showed Lamb's ankle becoming trapped between Sewell's tackling form and the unforgiving turf of Soldier Field. The physics created a perfect storm of devastating forces, forcing his ankle to roll outward at an angle human joints were simply never designed to accommodate. And the immediate aftermath was pure agony. Lamb, who had built a reputation for toughness and durability, having missed only 3 games in his entire NFL tenure, crumpled to the ground with the kind of immediate distress that transcends normal bumps and bruises. The sight of this elite athlete, moving with fluid grace moments before, suddenly reduced to grabbing his lower leg in obvious agony, sent an immediate chill through the Cowboys' sideline and the viewing audience. The viral nature of this footage cannot be overstated. Clips, first appearing on X and quickly amplified by major sports outlets, generated over 2 million impressions within 24 hours. The high-definition camera work, slow-motion replay, and sheer visceral nature of watching a human joint bend in ways it was never meant to, created content that was simultaneously impossible to watch and impossible to ignore. Trainers rushed to his side, quickly removing his shoe and sock. The fact that he was able to walk off the field under his own power provided some initial fleeting hope. But the obvious discomfort and cautious manner in which he moved immediately raised red flags for anyone familiar with high ankle sprains and their devastating impact. As Lamb limped off, the cameras captured not just physical pain but the visible frustration of a competitor who understood his team desperately needed him. The Cowboys' offense, already struggling, would now be forced to operate without their primary weapon. But what exactly was the terrifying medical truth behind the visuals?
Video clearly shows what looks like an Achilles rupture for Ceedee Lamb.
As the shocking footage of Lamb's injury continued to spread like wildfire, the football world desperately sought answers. The gruesome slow-motion replays had left many observers fearing the worst, with the unnatural angle of Lamb's ankle raising immediate concerns about potential season-ending damage. Within hours, sports medicine professionals began providing expert interpretations. Dr. Deepak Chona from Sports Medal was among the first, suggesting the injury appeared to be a mild high ankle sprain based on the mechanism and Lamb's immediate response. His analysis, which garnered over 1.8 million views, provided both technical insight and cautious optimism, helping calm some of the initial panic. The medical consensus that began to emerge painted a picture that was concerning but not catastrophic. Dr. David Chow, known as Pro Football Doc, concluded Lamb had suffered a left ankle eversion sprain that likely wouldn't require an IR stint. His assessment focused on the specific mechanism, noting that while disturbing, Lamb's ability to bear weight immediately suggested damage might not be as severe as initially feared. The technical aspects became clearer as more experts weighed in. Dr. Evan Jeff, a physical therapist, explained the inward force applied to Lamb's planted foot created perfect conditions for a high ankle sprain, emphasizing the need to rule out fracture. He highlighted that high ankle sprains, while often less immediately painful than traditional ones, are more problematic for athletes due to their impact on ankle stability and longer recovery times. And what made the analysis particularly terrifying was the detailed explanation of the forces applied.
Yeah, it seems surreal sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So my first year coming, having Baker, he's fresh off a Heisman, and then for him to go back to back, that was fire. And then knowing I had Kyler in the chamber, that was elite. And then you got Jay Hurts. He came in. He was a Heisman finalist as well. So I had 3 of them, 2 winners, 1 finalist.
Dr. Brian Sutter, in his comprehensive video breakdown, explained how the dorsal flexion position of Lamb's ankle at impact created maximum tension on his Achilles tendon and triceps surae complex. His analysis compared Lamb's injury to other high-profile incidents, providing deeper understanding of the biomechanics involved and potential long-term implications. Timing estimates from experts created a range of scenarios. Dr. Chona suggested 2 weeks, potentially returning for Week 5 against the Packers. Other experts painted a more conservative picture, noting that high ankle sprains often require 4 to 6 weeks, especially for players reliant on cutting ability. The complexity of these injuries became a central theme. Unlike traditional sprains affecting outer ligaments, high ankle sprains damage the syndesmotic ligaments connecting tibia and fibula bones above the ankle. These are particularly problematic for skilled players like wide receivers because they directly impact the ability to make sharp cuts and explosive directional changes fundamental to their position. And what made it even more concerning was the deceptive initial appearance. Many athletes suffering these injuries can walk and even attempt to continue playing immediately, only to discover later the damage is more significant. This phenomenon explained why Lamb briefly returned for 1 play before being ruled out. The specific details captured in the viral footage provided experts with an unusually clear view, allowing for precise analysis of the moment his ankle was forced into eversion while Sewell's weight came down. This clear visualization helped identify affected ligaments and provide more accurate recovery timelines. Comparisons to injuries suffered by players like Dak Prescott added context, providing fans with realistic expectations and demonstrating that athletes do successfully return from similar injuries. The role of modern medical imaging became crucial, with NFL Network's Ian Rappaport confirming a mild high ankle sprain, providing some relief. But the psychological aspect of recovering from such a visually dramatic injury also became part of the discussion, as experiencing and repeatedly seeing such a traumatic incident can affect an athlete's confidence. The broader implications for the Cowboys' offense during Lamb's absence were clear. Find ways to maintain effectiveness without their primary weapon, a daunting challenge given early season struggles. The medical analysis ultimately provided a comprehensive understanding. While initial visuals suggested career-threatening damage, expert consensus painted a picture of an injury that, while significant and impactful in the short term, was unlikely to have lasting effects on Lamb's career trajectory or long-term health. But who is Ceedee Lamb, and how did he reach this critical point in his career?
Has the media had any effect on you? The expectations are so high in what they want to see from you guys, and not getting to the next stages, the next levels. Has it had an impact on you at all?
Positive impact.
However, Lamb's career has not.
To truly understand the magnitude of this loss, one must examine the remarkable journey that brought Ceedee Lamb to this pivotal moment. Born Cedarian DeLeon Lamb on April 8, 1990, in Opelousas, Louisiana. His path to NFL stardom began in the aftermath of tragedy when Hurricane Katrina devastated his hometown in 2000. His family relocated to Houston, Texas, where he would eventually attend John and Randolph Foster High School. As a senior at Foster High, Lamb's statistical dominance was nothing short of extraordinary, recording 98 catches for 2,032 yards and 33 receiving touchdowns, numbers that placed him among the elite prospects in the entire state. His college career at Oklahoma was spectacular, having the unique privilege of working with 3 future NFL starting quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, fresh off his Heisman Trophy victory, Kyler Murray, and eventually Jalen Hurts. This unprecedented opportunity provided invaluable experience. His college statistics tell the story of consistent improvement and dominant production, culminating in his junior season, where he recorded 1,327 yards on just 62 receptions, an average of 21.4 yards per catch, that set an Oklahoma school record. These numbers weren't just impressive, they demonstrated the explosive playmaking ability and big play potential that made him such an attractive prospect for NFL teams. But even with all this success, Lamb has faced his share of drama.
Are you thinking about life after football at this stage in your career? And if so, what are the things of interest for Ceedee Lamb that he would be thinking about doing?
Yeah, but I'm not too focused on it, but I'm obviously having a brain outside of it, right? So like for me, I like to be creative. I like to create clothes. I love interior designing houses.
The goals and aspirations that have driven Lamb throughout his career were perhaps best articulated during his recent appearance on Kevin Hart's Cold as Balls show, where he laid out his ambitious vision for the 2025 season: 2,000 receiving yards, Offensive Player of the Year, and Super Bowl MVP. These weren't mere boastful claims, but represented the mindset of a player who consistently backed up his words with exceptional performance. His leadership role within the Cowboys organization became evident during that same interview as he discussed his approach to facing immense pressure, stating any media impact has been positive. However, Lamb's career has not been without its share of controversies and challenges, particularly regarding his financial negotiations. The 2024 contract holdout that preceded his eventual 4-year, $136 million extension was a contentious period that cost him over $1.5 million in fines and created tension between him and the organization. The holdout, which lasted throughout training camp and preseason, saw Lamb accruing daily fines of $40,000 while missing crucial preparation time. The resolution ultimately made him the second highest paid receiver in the NFL, but the prolonged negotiations highlighted the sometimes difficult relationship between star players and team management. Beyond contract issues, Lamb has faced scrutiny from the league regarding his on-field celebrations. The NFL has fined him over $50,000 throughout his career for various infractions, including recent penalties for what the league deemed violent touchdown celebrations. Most recently, he and Steelers receiver George Pickens were each fined $14,491 for a choreographed celebration involving fake punches. The league has also attempted to curtail Lamb's signature nose wipe celebration, citing concerns about its potential association with violence or gang affiliation. Performance-related controversies have also followed Lamb, particularly during crucial moments when his production has fallen short. Cowboys fans heavily criticized his performance in the season-opening loss to the Eagles, where several drop passes contributed to the team's defeat. Following a particularly poor performance against the Baltimore Ravens in 2024, Lamb publicly apologized, stating, "I failed myself and obviously I failed the team." This level of accountability demonstrated his maturity and understanding of his responsibilities.
Dr. Deepak Chona from SportsMed Analytics was among the first to provide a detailed breakdown, suggesting that the injury appeared to be a mild high ankle sprain based on the mechanism of injury and Lamb's immediate
The
response.
relationship dynamics within the Cowboys locker room have also provided insight into Lamb's character. His connection with quarterback Dak Prescott has been particularly strong, with both players working to resolve any on-field chemistry issues through direct communication rather than allowing problems to fester. This mature approach has been crucial in maintaining the effectiveness of their partnership. The departure of former teammate Micah Parsons to the Eagles via trade created another interesting dynamic. As reports suggested, Parsons had rankled teammates including Lamb with his egotistical podcast persona and locker room behavior. Despite these reported tensions, Lamb maintained a diplomatic public stance, referring to Parsons as "my DMN dog," while acknowledging the personal edge that would exist when facing him as an opponent. Looking toward the future, Lamb has already begun considering life after football, demonstrating the kind of forward-thinking approach that characterizes successful athletes who transition well into post-playing careers. He recently shared, "I like to be creative. I like to create clothes. I love interior designing houses." These entrepreneurial interests reflect a well-rounded individual who understands the importance of developing skills and passions beyond his athletic career. The combination of creative pursuits like fashion design and interior decorating, with his established success in professional football, paints a picture of someone who approaches life with the same strategic thinking that has made him successful on the field. The medical analysis that emerged ultimately provided a comprehensive understanding. While the initial visuals suggested the possibility of career-threatening damage, the expert consensus painted a picture of an injury that, while significant and impactful in the short term, was unlikely to have lasting effects on Lamb's career trajectory or long-term health. The reverberations from CeeDee Lamb's shocking ankle injury extended far beyond Soldier Field, fundamentally altering the trajectory of the Dallas Cowboys' 2025 season. As the dust settled, the focus shifted to understanding the broader implications of losing their star receiver. The immediate impact on the Cowboys' offense was devastating. The team managed only 240 total yards without their primary weapon. The stark contrast between the explosive potential Lamb provided and the anemic production that followed his exit highlighted just how integral he had become to the team's identity and success. The brutal reality of football is that one moment can change everything.